Okay, so a show of hands. Who else got tricked into thinking that Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush just casually dropped in ritual summoning when they showcased Black Luster Soul Jersey being summoned? 1, 2, 3. That's a lot of hands. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're here to talk about a very wacky, crazy episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush. That's right, episode 15, in where a lot of legacy monsters return, but with a Jersey twist. Let's talk about it. But before we talk about the monsters, I want to talk about what I thought was the most interesting element to this episode, and that was the Rush Battler system. This system is one in which you earn points through winning rush duels, and the more wins you have, the more points you earn. And the more points you've earned, the more access you have to things like wealth, power, and respect. Now, on that note, I do think there's going to be a situation where some places or areas within this alien residency will be off limits to our heroes based on their Rush Battler points that they've accumulated. So we could have it to where something like, because Yuumu and Yuumu have won so many duels, but Yuhi hasn't quite won enough already, he can't access a certain facility, but the other two UTS members can. I'm also curious to see what happens when someone has lost all of their Rush Battler points. I thought we might get a glimpse of this with George losing to Udius, but it seems like the system isn't a do or die situation, so losing one duel isn't the end of the world. However, I do want to see if something is going to take the loser away if all of their points drop to 0. And speaking of the world, it's interesting in how on this underground area they have access to television that gets broadcast up on the surface. We know this thanks to the Jersey brothers knowing of Mania and the duel that showcased in the kind of gaming event between episodes 8 and 10. Which also means that some of the aliens down in this area also know about Earthdamar because of the whole Meek-chan situation. And it's also possible that they know about Zawaijo and Udius' duel as well, and some aliens might want revenge against Udius for beating Zawaijo. If, of course, Zawaijo's display has influenced them with his showcasing of using Earthdamar and the power that he could exert using so. So that could lead to some interesting issues for our heroes down the line as well. Yeah, we could see a lot of enemies here. After all, it's not like other aliens don't already know about the existence of Volgear. The Jersey brothers called it an urban planet, so it means they've heard of it in detail and they know that it's a very populated planet itself. So basically, they're from a very small planet on the outskirts of space, and it's highly likely that other bigger, badder aliens would know of Volgear. Thus, if they find out where Udius is from, they might come knocking. Okay, so I'm going to give you my honest opinion on these Jersey brothers. I did not like them at all. They, personally, were too over the top for me, and I can't take them seriously. I personally don't like characters when they have a one-word catchphrase that they use at the end of every sentence. There are a couple of exceptions to this, but that's only in a very small few. So that's one bad thing against them. Another thing that I didn't really like were their designs. Like, I get it, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! They like to make us think that a character is all sinister and evil, and then they give them a very goofy and silly kind of design. Fine, sure. But at the same time, these goofy brothers really reminded me of both the Trinity Dragon from the Cardfight Vanguard G series and the Ginyu Force from the Dragon Ball series. So, not really a great start, in my opinion. However, with that being said, two things did make me respect them. Firstly, they're Mania fans, meaning that they have good taste in on-screen personalities. And secondly, they're monsters. Call me whatever you like, but Penguin Soldier is brilliant, and seeing a Penguin Soul Jersey, honestly, I found that more hyped than seeing Black Luster Soul Jersey. Penguin Soul Jersey's effect is also very similar to Penguin Soldier's, except instead of a flip effect, you have it to where you've got a requirement. During the turn you normal summon this card, you can send one monster with 500 defense from your hand to the graveyard. In order to activate the effect, return 2 face-up monsters level 4 or lower from your opponent's field to their hand. So it's not as good as Penguin Soldier's effect, but it's still pretty awesome to see. Other cool monsters included things like Cannon Soul Jersey, which was a jersey wearing Cannon Soldier, and Bean Soul Jersey, which I recognised the monster's design, but I couldn't find the actual original Duel Monsters card. The deck itself revolves around monsters with 500 defense points, as most of the requirements for activation revolves around monsters with 500 defense in order to activate it. This is both a good and bad thing, as it makes monsters weaker to their Duel Monsters counterpart. But this is in the way that it kind of restricts them. For example, Cannon Soldier just says tribute a monster to deal damage to your opponent. But in Cannon Soul Jersey, it has to be tributing a monster with 500 defense points. So it's very specific in its tributing monster that you have to do in order to activate the effect. But with this kind of hindrance, it does also keep the deck balanced. And without the deck being balanced, I think it would be really good in the rush dueling format. Like, it's still going to be good, but without the balance, it would be even better. I mean, come on. We actually saw George almost beat Udius in this episode, if not for that misplay. And on the topic of misplays, I really like how the show has been repeatedly pointing out when a character or duelist misplays during a duel. Plus, this misplay did kind of help keep George looking a bit strong as a duelist, even in defeat. The spell card Blackluster Jersey Rituals design looks more like the design for Super Soldier Ritual, as opposed to the original Blackluster Ritual spell card. Just in a way that with Super Soldier Ritual, it has like 2 monsters on the side and then kind of the altar. Just like how this Jersey Ritual card had 2 like sort of jerseys hung up with fans and then like the ritual podium in the middle. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Now, Yuumu time. This episode did really show off her greedy side and her love for tech, which makes sense considering her dragons are also tech themed, like Bluetooth Dragon. But I really liked how this passion for tech and making money paired with her evil scheming in this chapter. Like, she wanted to use Udius to duel only because it would mean that she might get some more lackeys afterwards, and also grow her empire in the process by accumulating these points on her rush battle system. Of course, she'll be using Udius as her #1 champion. This whole segment, this whole kind of theme about her in the episode was harmless. It was funny, and it showed off some personality and character from Yuumu. I liked it a lot, what more can I say? But I do wonder if this side of her character will one day cause some problems/issues for them all moving forward. Just don't get too greedy, Yuumu. So, it looks like we're now heading to the dark side of town, as we're going to find Gohad Yoona. Now, this silhouette that they showed when talking about how she could have been wandering around town unseen, or how she could have stumbled into the dark side of town, looked like an adult. So, could this be hinting at the person at the end of episode 13 that's going after Manabu being Gohad Yoona? Now, if this is the case, it could make for some interesting development moving forward. Or could this character be a character that heavily resembles Princess G? Because in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, Princess G was connected to the Kirishima family, and we know that London asked UTS to look for Gohad Yoona, so a Kirishima. And of course, Princess G had connection to Gohad, because she, obviously was being funded by Gohad. So it gives Gohad Yoona, if she has Princess G's sort of like design template, a connection to Gohad. It's a weird outside the box kind of way of thinking about it, but I just think the hair does look very similar to Princess G's hair at the same time. Still though, I think we're going to have a lot more episodes and duels before we actually get to see Gohad Yoona revealed on screen. But in the meantime, it's still fun to speculate. So I guess the last talking point in this episode was, of course, London. Because A, he can't draw, which I thought was slightly ironic / funny, because we know that the Kirishimas and Sevens were very good when it comes to their creative skills. And of course B, London has been to this underground alien area before. If he hadn't, how would he have known about the Rush Battler system? Also, who gave those to him? That's a question that we need answering. Because yet, this could be another hint at the show telling us not to trust London in the future. Because it does make him more suspicious. Still though, I don't think he's actually got evil intent. Anyways, that's all I've got to say about this episode. I thought it was a fine episode, but nothing spectacular. And hopefully, we don't see those Jersey brothers in the future, because honestly, I didn't find them that fun. I thought their cards were better than their characters. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have, hit that like button, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe for more things Yu-Gi-Oh! Have a great day. Alligator, matane. Goodbye.